Happy Friday, Jeromes. It is allegedly decision day for Minnesota Vikings edge rusher Za'Darius Smith. Is he going to be back? Is he going to be traded? Is he going to be cut? Who really knows? And Za'Darius, coming over from Green Bay, absolutely loved and adored him last season. First 9 games, he was playing like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Then he got injured, got slowed, was still getting pressure, but sort of is what it is. And that's what you got when you're dealing with Za'Darius Smith, where when healthy, he's had health issues the last 2 years. 2 years ago, it was his back. Last year, it was his knee. And when he's healthy, like, he's one of the best edge rushers in the game. He's a fantastic teammate. He's a great leader. But things hit an impasse this offseason where Za'Darius Smith sold his house and then posted this, goodbye, thank you on Instagram or on Twitter. And even though the team was just like, no, you're under contract for 2 more years, basically, reportedly, Za'Darius wants a trade. He wants to get some of that cash in free agency. Fully understand that, but that's where the Vikings and Z are at an impasse today. And it was heightened after the Vikings in free agency signed, again, often injured, but super high ceiling, younger version of Za'Darius Smith in free agent Marcus Davenport coming over from the New Orleans Saints. 1 year, $13 million deal syncs up pretty nicely with the $12.1 million and change that the Vikings will save by cutting or trading Za'Darius Smith. So that certainly complicates things as the Vikings look like they're moving on and getting younger and younger at the edge rusher position, matching up Davenport and Danielle Hunter hopefully long term. And it looks like the Vikings were going to move on from Za'Darius Smith. But today is the day that is important for the Vikings because it is the 3rd day of the new league year, March 17th, and a lot of money on veteran contracts comes due or is partially guaranteed or fully guaranteed on the 3rd day of the new league year today. Now, it's nebulous. Like, it doesn't turn like midnight and he gets it. It's basically if you're on the roster throughout the day, there isn't a hard deadline like the start of the new league year, 3 p.m. Central Time. But basically, it's sort of a hodgepodge. Like, basically, if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. That whole thing. But he's doing $9.45 million base salary this year, which is, of course, far below market value for elite edge rushers, hence why he would like to be released and probably get a new contract. But $5.05 million of that base salary becomes fully guaranteed if he's on the roster today by the end of business. So Za'Darius, I mean, even if he's cut, even if he's traded, even if he's whatever after this, he still is guaranteed that $5.05 million. And also, if the Vikings do cut him today, it would be a $12.157 million cap savings, which would come in handy with Marcus Davenport. But of course, what's complicating things is speculation that Davenport may have failed his physical. So that certainly throws a wrench into things. But with Za'Darius, again, this is today's deadline is basically if they're going to cut him. Now, they certainly can let it ride with him, and they could trade him at a later date because they would get the same cap savings if he's traded anytime before the start of the regular season. But it's a bit of a gamble because if you have a guy who doesn't want to be here anymore and you have to carry that $5 million guaranteed anyway, and then eventually if you cut him, that's dead on your cap. Like, he's going to get that money either way. So if they roll with Za'Darius past today, either he's going to be on the roster or they're trading him. They're not going to be cutting him, but that option to cut him is there today. Now, I think that he does have some trade value, even though he's going to be 31 years old, on the wrong side of 30 to start the season. He does have injury concerns, and also he's made it clear that he wants to be released, so that doesn't really give the Vikings a ton of leverage. But if you can get like a mid-round pick or late day 2, early day 3 selection, I think you'll take that at this point. But it remains to be seen. Like I said, the Marcus Davenport contract and potential physical situation certainly does complicate things. And, maybe Za'Darius is miffed. Like, maybe, beyond the whole goodbye that he posts on social media, maybe he is miffed that they're basically just blatantly trying to replace him by signing a guy like Marcus Davenport. And maybe he has zero intention of returning to the Vikings. So that would completely negate the Vikings' leverage in trade negotiations. And maybe it's just time to move on. Maybe they just cut him and not get any trade compensation and free up that $12.15 million in cap space and go from there. But we'll see. But it's decision time today for the Vikings and Za'Darius Smith. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.